All right. Day 332 of going live. Let's double check to make sure the audio is working. Okay, we're in business. So today we got a subject to deal. This is a subject to deal 1948 Urbana, whatever it is, Avenue in Deltona, Florida, 32725. Purchase price $240,000, 331. Interest rate of 6.62%. Sorry, my camera's not working. All right, no problem. Just do it on chat. Just message me. You guys have any questions? So a subject to deal is when you are buying a property subject to the existing financing. So you're not going out there and taking out a new loan to pay off the existing loan, because guess who makes money in that scenario? Typically, your lenders, right? Because you got to pay off one loan and generate another loan. So this way, you're taking over the payments on the underlying loan, but you're still getting ownership of the property. So the deed still transfers to you. Now, when you have a subject to deal, generally the value proposition is that the interest rate's a little bit lower. This scenario, 6.62%, that's not the best and most attractive interest rate. So I'm assuming they're selling this because they're in a great deal of pain. And this is how I know, right? The seller is walking away with no cash. But they're hoping that someone pays off their past due balance of $5,800, and the wholesaler that negotiated this deal is going to get $10,000 assignment fee. So that's their active income. So your total PITI is $2,219. Solar payment $68. So your total monthly payment is $2,288. This is a really important number here. Now, this tells me already that this property is probably not going to cash flow, but let's kind of do the math and we'll figure out just exactly how much money you'd be losing on this deal. All right, here's your loan details. Okay, this is why there's no equity in this deal, because usually when you get a VA loan, typically you don't have to put much down payment. You might be at a 0% down payment. So this is why it's so advantageous there. So the next step here is if you include the washer dryer. Okay, so let's go ahead and plug these numbers in. Purchase price, $240,331. $240,331. Total monthly payment of $2,288. So I'm gonna plug in the loan details right here first. The loan details is gonna be $225,893. I'm gonna come to here in K6 $225,893, 6.62% interest rate. Maturity date 10/31/52, 10/31/22 is the starting date because I'm subtracting 30 years from that number. And there's solo loan of $16,891. They didn't give me any details for $16,891. So I'm gonna plug that right in there. Don't really care about the interest rate because all I care right now is just whether or not I'm gonna cash flow. Okay. If I really, really cared about the cash flow, if I really, really cared about the deal and think I was gonna buy it, if it was gonna cash flow, then I would probably try to get the underlying details. But for now, you don't have to worry about it. Let's try to figure out how to back into it, right? So in order for you to figure out whether or not you're gonna cash flow, I'm gonna take this $2,288 number. I'm going to go to this property tax number in B28, which is where I normally put the property tax expense. But I'm going to use $2,288. And now I'm going to subtract the principal portion of the subject to loan, the interest portion of the subject to loan, subtract the principal portion of the solar loan, and the interest portion of the solar loan. And that's going to allow me to back into how much money I'm paying for property taxes and insurance currently. But the insurance number is just going to be for primary residence, right? Because typically when you buy a property on a VA loan, it's for primary residence purposes. So the insurance premium is likely going to be lower than an investment property. So I'm going to bump this up by another $50 because you're moving into a investment property. So typically the insurance premium is going to go up, but you're also in a state like Florida where the insurance expenses is going up every single year. Let me just see now. I looked at this on Redfin. So this is the photos of the property. Honestly, it looks pretty much rent ready. It doesn't look bad at all. You don't need to do any flooring or painting. So that's a pretty good condition home. Let's see if it's in the flood zone. Click on the map. Not in a flood zone, so good. So I think $50 is probably appropriate just because of how much insurance goes up every single year in Florida. So I got $50 there. I got 10% set aside for maintenance. I got And again, I can't harp on maintenance that much. Today, I just got 3 quotes back, and the quotes to replace their entire roof range from $11.5K to $15,000. Right. And if you have solar panels, it costs you more money just to temporarily remove the solar panel just to replace the roof. Right. So just remember that it takes a lot, and I mean a lot of money for these big capital expenditures. So this money certainly does not belong to you. You got to set aside that money every single month, because otherwise you would be overestimating your profitability because you're underestimating your expenses. Don't be that person and get a $15,000 bill to replace your roof thinking that you made all this extra $135 per month, when in reality, that one big expense is going to drain it. All right. So you got 10% for property management, you got 5% for vacancy, and you got a net profit based on the rents. Let's see what the rents are. So the first thing we're going to do is get the rents. Now that we got our expenses in, I'm going to look up what county this property is in. This property is in Volusia County. So I'm going to Google HUD FMR. FMR stands for fair market rents. I'm going to click on that one, the first link, and then click on access to small area FMR. So I'm going to look up FY 2025 FMRs. I'm going to go to Florida and go to Volusia County. And this property was in 32725. So 32725, you're going to get the rent ceiling as $24.60. Okay. So let's put this one in. $24.60. And this property is way too small to be a 4-bed. So we're just going to assume that for now. 32725. 32725. 32725. All right. Now that I got my rent ceiling, right? The $24.60 typically is my rent ceiling. It also includes utilities. So if you don't provide utilities, make sure you back that out, obviously. But then I'm going to go to affordablehousing.com. I'm going to go to the owner section, click on a market rent estimator, plug in the address, plug in a bedroom count. And now I'm going to get by bedroom count, by zip code, what the closest 25 units that are 3 bedrooms are renting out for. And you can see that the 25 units within a half-mile radius, the average rent is $19.77. $19.77. So I'm going to put this right in there for now. 1919, 1922, 210. Okay. All right. So I have pretty good confidence that 1977 is a decent rent. So if I put in 1977, now that we talked about earlier, what am I going to cash flow? Before I even get to my cash return, I'd be negative $855 a month, right? After all my expenses. So your expenses, I mean, your net cash flow is not simply just your rent minus your PITI. A lot of people forget to put into the expenses of property management, vacancy, because someone always moves out, right? Some people will say, oh, I'm just going to self-manage it. So I'm not going to incorporate any property management expenses. But I'm pretty sure everybody got into real estate for financial freedom of time, do whatever you want. Well, if you don't underwrite with property management, then you essentially have bought yourself a job and you'll never be able to get out of a job. So just be careful. Make sure that you are truly thinking about these expenses so that you are underwriting for the future, not just right now. Okay, so now for my cash and cash return, let's get my total entry fee. Now, what was displayed here? My total entry fee was $5,800 to arrears and $10,000 for the assignment. So no cash to seller, $5,800 to the arrears and $10,000 for assignment. I got 2.5% for my closing costs. My renovations is probably going to be close to not as high. So I'll probably keep one high pressure flush toilet. I'm not going to, let's say if there's 300 square feet of painting that I need to replace, $500 for landscaping and $1,500 for the roof in case there's anything I cannot see from the photos. $4,000 in rehab, that gives me a negative 39.74% return. Negative 39.7. So to me, that's clearly not a deal, and that's where I probably would have stopped analyzing the deal when they showed me that the total monthly payment was this, and they thought the rent was going to be $1,663, even though I saw on affordablehousing.com it's $1,900, right? Even though there's a big spread between what I'm using, I can still tell that it's not worth the time, right? But sometimes if you see a 3-bedroom and you see there's a lot of square footage, you might say, hey, what if I turn this into a 4-bedroom? But typically, if I see something that's under 1,000 square feet, there's no way I'm getting an additional bedroom out of that. There's just not enough square footage for it to be comfortable. So that's how I know that this will not be a deal. All right. I hope you guys all have an amazing day. Hope you guys spend some quality time with your family and friends today. And you guys want to copy the spreadsheet, don't forget to go to affordablehousing.io. Again, this is not investment advice. I'm not soliciting any investments on the call. Just showing you how to work every single day. If you go to affordablehousing.io, go to the Get Deal Analysis tool, put in your name, email, phone number. This is the fastest way to get a copy of the spreadsheet. Promise I won't spam you, but I had to make the spreadsheet from scratch. I got a few different copies from a few different folks. I combined it, I modified it, and that was enough. All right. So I hope you all have an amazing day. I'll be back here again tomorrow for day 333. Have a good one, everybody.